Hi guys, so recently I completed the TRTP process, which stands for the richest trauma process. I know, trauma. It took me a while to accept I have trauma. Basically, you go through these intensive 2-hour therapy sessions every week for 3 weeks. It uses a technique called deep imagination. However, it's not hypnosis. It's more like a form of dynamic imagination. Basically, feels like meditation, but with a lot more intention and imagination. I'm not an expert, but the theory goes it uses deep imagination to tap into our subconscious mind to resolve past stressful events or trauma so that we can move on to our lives. Why did I want to get involved with TRTP? So I wanted to try out TRTP to stop self-sabotaging, and to be honest, I was really curious about the process because when my therapist brought this up, she described it like instead of using your conscious analytical mind, it uses your imagination and you get to rescue your younger self in the mind. It's like having control in your dream, like Inception. But this video is not about recommending TRTP. You should always seek professional medical advice, talk to your therapist, talk to your doctor, and use your own judgments, of course. Anyways, but if you are interested in how TRTP works, in today's video, I'm gonna first go through briefly my past history, the demons I had to fight with, so you get a brief idea of why I seeked out TRTP. And then I'll talk about the experience I had with TRTP, especially the deep imagination part, which is the main part. And lastly, I'll talk about what changed for me and how I feel now. Okay, some background about me. I never thought I have any childhood trauma. You know, there was no rape, no car accidents, and no natural disaster. Until I looked up the definition of trauma, and then I realized that the fact that I was sent away when I was just a baby due to one-child policy, and at the age of 5, I remember always banging my head on the wall to let out my rage, and of course, this is a form of self-harm. And throughout my 20s, I battled with self-harm and suicidal thoughts and low self-esteem. Nothing major. So all these past moments that I thought no longer bothered me actually had resulted in some long-term shame and guilt. That's why I always feel inferior and small, and that prevents me from doing something that I really want to do, such as this YouTube channel. Here is my experience with TRTP. At first, I was pretty scared and skeptical for fair enough reasons. Like, this method is pretty new. My therapist was doing it for professional development, and I looked up online and there weren't really any convincing materials. And worst of all, this method actually hasn't been clinically and scientifically proven to work for everyone. So I worried if I'll get brainwashed, manipulated, or this is just placebo effect for the mind. Anyways, I decided to trust my therapist because she had helped me tremendously in the past few years, and this is what deep imagination feels like. You know that feeling when you're like deep in meditation or you're like falling asleep? That's basically how it feels, but you are actually very alert and intentional inside. Actually, I almost fell asleep and my therapist had to like wake me up, be like, Ting Ting, are you there? Then you basically imagine. You've done it before, have you? While engaging all your senses like see, touch, smell, and feel. Like, it depends on how you imagine. Different people imagine differently, apparently. I was actually pretty afraid that I'm not good at imagination, nor am I good at meditation. Like, how can I just engage my subconscious mind? But it came easier than I thought. Maybe because imagination is such a human nature. However, it didn't mean that I have no control. I had full control of my body and my mind. The harder part for me is actually to let go of like thinking and analyzing everything all the time. Okay, We don't have hours to talk about what actually happened in the theater of my mind, nor are people interested. But if you are interested, I did write an article about what happened in the scenes in my mind, and you can check it out in the link which I will provide in the description below. There's just one scene that I want to bring up because I found it really powerful. In the first session, there was a scene where I stood in front of a full-length mirror after just having a cleansing spa. Of course, in the imagination, right? In the imagination. And then my therapist guided me and said, who is she without the lies that she had been told when she was a child, without the beliefs she took on that had been running her life? It was just so powerful. I remember immediately cried and almost helplessly. I cried because in the mirror I saw a smiling girl, and that moment I realized that I am a happy person. I don't have to feel bad for feeling happy. I don't have to think that, or like I'm smiling only because I'm pretending to be happy. Happiness is literally my nature, and this sense of happiness has been the closest thing to me since I was a child. So for me, that was really powerful. Do I recommend TRTP? All I can say is be open-minded and talk to your therapist, talk to a doctor if you think this could be for you. But then for those people who are concerned about whether it's safe, I can say it's safe, and the worst thing that can happen is if nothing happens. Like, imagine going to a Zumba class and realize that Zumba class is not for you, but that doesn't mean that other people can't enjoy Zumba too. Another thing I want to say about TRTP is that it's not like magic. How I feel is the whole TRTP 6-hour session is like downloading a software in your brain. It's ultimately up to you whether you want to continue to use those skills that you've learned to, address your past trauma, any like stressful events that continue to happen in your life, and to build confidence within, basically. Finally, what changed in my life? I didn't know how to describe this. I've never felt so powerful and hopeful. Like, I start to think life is good, as in, like life should be good. I don't have to suffer simply because I choose not to suffer in life. I stopped resenting my family because I have dealt with them inside in my mind theater. I know it sounds crazy, but basically I don't have to be angry anymore. Instead, now I am more curious. I am curious about their side of the story. Like, I'm more ready to talk to them, to have a closure. It doesn't mean, everything kind of is the past, let's like forget about it. It's more like I've let my emotional charge out so I can be more calm to have a mature discussion or a mature conversation with them. And now when I get mistreated, I finally feel angry. Oh my god, like I didn't know how to be angry, but through the TRTP process, I learned how to be angry in a good way to protect myself without having to convince myself like, yes, you can protect yourself, yes, you deserve this. Like it comes very natural to me rather than before. I feel this is injustice, but like I literally don't know what to say, and I literally don't have any like kind of assertion into like doing anything for myself. The best thing is I started to have a lot of ideas and inspirations for this YouTube channel, and surprisingly I also started to want money, like because I used to associate money with something that's negative, but now I believe that money is a tool and good people can have good money too. It wasn't that I don't know all these things before, but now I am a lot more agreeable to myself. I don't have to fight myself that much anymore. If you find this video helpful, please consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, please. Love you all. Bye.